What's up there, everybody? It's Odin. It's Sunday. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, anybody who watches my humble videos that I make. They have no bearing on your life in any way, probably, but for some reason you're curious what's going on um, in my little sphere of existence amongst all these billions of spheres that we live amongst. And yeah, so it's Sunday today. It's been a little bit of a frustrating day. Um, Most recently, watching my Avs lose a very entertaining game, but I mean, 14 goals scored in one game. First playoff game. It was an away game in Winnipeg, and the Jets won, and the Avs lost. But they played them really well on the road, which the Avs haven't been that great at. So whatever. They've looked like shit at the end of the year anyway, going into the playoffs, and who knows. But it was still a fun game, I guess. But they lost, so it's still heartbreaking. But not nearly as heartbreaking as the car trouble I was working on today. So, bought everything to do a total brake job on the Ultima. All the calipers, rotors, and pads for the entire front and rear. And I started with the rear because they usually give me the most trouble for whatever reason. And got everything all the way up to putting on the new rotor. And it's the inner hat area where the wheel hub assembly slides over is too small. It will not fit. So I can only get the wheel studs out about like, I don't know, not even an eighth of an, just like lined up, and then it stops. So that really, really, really pissed me off because I think it's not going to affect anything. And if I have any car people out there, maybe you'll know. It's not going to affect anything if I grind down that wheel hub or file it down just to like get it to where there's enough clearance to get the rotor on there. Because the rotor is mostly locked into the front of the wheel hub where the wheel nut is in that area. Not so much on the wheel hub. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue. I just needed to get it on there and tighten the lug nuts, but I don't want to fuck anything up. But I don't know what the hell the issue is. Everything's supposed to be the right parts. Everything else lines up. And when I measured them, they're so damn close that it's like only the tiniest bit needs to come off to get it to fucking go on. And I thought about just malleting it and just smacking it on there and making it fit. But I know that the future self, even if it's someone else, is going to hate me for doing that because then it's going to be a nightmare to get that rotor off someday. So I don't know. That's one of those car things when you get everything was kind of working. There was some minor annoyances, getting everything off and putting the new one on and getting the caliper ready and everything's ready to go. But that rotor won't fit. And there was a few minor annoyances, but everything was more or less running smooth. And then I hit that brick wall and I just went, fuck, I'm going to do a bunch of other shit. I'm not going to waste my time grinding this down because I want to do a little more research. See if that's actually going to affect anything. I don't think it will, but I can't imagine it would. But I don't want to just do it and then have an issue later. So anyway, that pissed me off and ruined my day because I was feeling fairly productive earlier. The other funny issue, and this is like almost stupid, but a real thing, is later this week we're expecting another round of thunderstorms, potential tornadoes. And I'm like, my garage is where the tornado shelter is. I've never even cared about that, except this is the season. It's also the best time of year to work on my car. It's not too hot, not too cold. And in there in the garage. But I have the car right over the tornado shelter, so it's jacked up and on stands, and right over the tornado. So like, I guess in a pinch, I could still slide the cover back and get under there through the bottom of the car because it's jacked up. But if a tornado does hit and it like jostles it, that car just gonna fall over the shelter, and I'll be stuck in my little tomb there. So I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm like, I want to get it at least movable so I can pull it out of the garage just in case when the storms come. But it's just fucked up. It's that time of year, and that's where my shelter is. But that's where I want to work on my car. It's like a little bit of a catch-22 there. Like, I was assuming I could get all the rear ones done, back it out because I have another place to park it on the property, back it out and park it till the storm's passed, and if I need the shelter, it's available. But if I don't find a solution before what's like Thursday, Friday is when it's supposed to start hit, especially because my kids are going to be with me this weekend, then I'll have to put the old shit all back together, just tuck my tail between my legs and take the car out just in case. And I would normally never really worry about that except for, I don't know, I had one scare and now I'm like completely sold on the idea that I do not want to be left unprotected in case the big one comes, the big twister comes. Because there have been some big ones. There was a really big one not too long ago, and the one that hit me wasn't like small. I mean, it wasn't huge. It was an F2 or EF2, whatever they call that, and which is not the big uns, but it was plenty damaging enough that I didn't want to be watching my roof fly off. So while I'm sitting there on the couch. And also the way my house sits here in this room is the most elevated area. So my bedroom's the worst area. And as you go back towards the farthest end of the house where the shelter is the best area. It's the most on land, and the shelter's actually in the ground, in the slab for the garage and underground. It's totally safe. The only thing that would be unsafe about it is if you get stuck under there. Anyway, I'm only talking about tornadoes because it's tornado season. Plus, I become fascinated. I watch like everything all about tornadoes all the time now because I'm just totally fascinated, whereas I never was before. And now I am. And it's fucking with my car repairs because I gotta like plan this shit out. And I was actually thinking about that before because I'm like, here's your shelter. You're gonna cover it up with your car while you're working on it? Well, you best work on it quick. Just in case, you know. Anyway. Fucking weird problems. But that was today. That was kind of shitty. Yesterday was not too shabby. I finally legitimately got my Missouri driver's license, which means I'm legit Missourian now. Even though I still feel like an outsider. I feel like a stranger in a strange land, as the saying goes. And I remember when I moved to Washington from Colorado. Like, I lived in Colorado my whole life, and then me and my ex, we moved to Washington. And I remember it took me like a couple years before I really felt like, all right, this is where you live now, you know. And it's the same here. I still feel like I'm at my job. Still feel kind of like I'm on assignment. I still feel in this area that, like, I bought a house. I live here. I like my house. But it still feels like a rental. You know, so everything still feels temporary. And incredibly alone. Like, it's just, I haven't made friends. I don't know. which I'm a very loner person, but on the same hand, this is very alone. But Saturday, after I got my legit driver's license for Missouri, my friend Rob Wilson, who's still in town, still in the area, he will be through May. And so I figured, we should hang out I would have got a jump start on the brakes if I had not done this, but he's in town for a short amount of time, and then he'll be gone. I won't have anybody around here. So I was like, we should hang out. Went to the comic shop, as is our tradition. Got our books, hung out with the owner, and skedaddled, and then wanted to get a drink, and so I took him to a place called Marty's, which is a sports bar that I've checked out a couple times. When I was in my apartment when I first moved here, it was right down the road. Not a bad place. But I mean, it was weird. We went there like or mid-afternoon, and I was surprised at how many day drinkers were with us. And then it was got to be like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then there was already some trashed and trashy couple that was being loud and annoying and pissing me off, but they were also trying to buy us shots, and I was like, hey, it's not even 5 o'clock, man. Slow down. They were all trashed. But I said, it's not worth it. It's not worth a shot. Let's just get out of here. But we go to that bar. It's got the bartender who works there is decent eye candy, and she's one of those personalities that's great for a bartender. She flirts with everybody. Every old man who walks in there thinks that she thinks he's the greatest. She just does that to everybody, and she's a very nice body, very friendly and outgoing, so it's good to look at, fun to talk to. She's cool. And I was telling Rob, I'm like, well, that's why I kept coming back to this place. She's nice to hang out with. Makes it much better. Because I go to some bars, you get the crotchety old bartender who just hates her life and hates everybody who walks in there. Now, there's definitely a time and place for that. There's a time when I want to go to a bar and not talk to the bartender. But those are rare occasions. But yeah. So anyway, let's get out of there. But then I just passed out when I got home because I was tired. I didn't realize how long a week it had been at work. And work has been kind of kicking my ass. Not really kicking my ass, but they're dumping more and more responsibility on me. The more happy they are with my work, the more they want me to do more. That's how it goes, right? That's the way it goes. And I'm always happy to do more because I like being busy. I hate being slow. My last job, I was slow all the time. And much rather be busy, but then on the same hand, I get home and I want to draw, I want to stay up, and before I know it, it's midnight and I got to get up in a few hours, and then I'll start the whole thing over again. I can do that for so long, but then Friday night it caught up with me, passed out pretty early, and Saturday it caught up with me. I ended up taking a nap, basically, because I woke up at 10 or 11 going, well, I'm not ready to go to sleep. But I realized that that's an accumulation of spent energy and where I needed to catch up on sleep. So even tonight, I'm like, okay, we got another big week. The big weeks are never going to stop coming. I can already tell. It's just the way this job is going is that it's just always going to be a whirlwind. I'm always going to be just pressed and working my ass off and working late. And, I'm salary. So it's I just got to get the jobs done. I can't worry about how long they take, but I'm always pretty quick. But the problem is you set that tone. You're like, I can do this quick. And then everybody's like, oh, look how fast he is. Let's, we can give him more. We can do more. Which is funny because when I met with my managers, they were talking about other people they'd interviewed for the position, people like fresh out of college who are like saying things like, well, what kind of team am I going to have to work on this stuff? And they kind of laughed at that. And I'm like, yeah, that is pretty funny. But now looking at it after kind of dipping my toe in, I'm like, it would be nice to have one other person, somebody I can pass off like the easy shit to, and so I could work on the more complex projects. But if I did that, then it become more managerial, and I hate managing people. There's always more money managing people, but I hate doing it. So I really do like the setup where everybody leaves me alone. They just give me what they need done, trust me to get it done, and every interaction is pertinent, and that's about it. So I work in my little corner of the place and do my job and go home and draw. So as you can see, I'm drawing right now, or have this drawing that I've been working on for a while now. The drawing has been a lot slower lately too. A lot of that's just time of year. There's stuff to get done or I'm just exhausted, and sometimes I'm too exhausted to even draw, even though it's cathartic and enjoyable. Sometimes I'm too wasted to, get into drawing. So I just kind of bum until it's time to go to bed, and then get up and do work all over again. But I'm hoping to get reinvigorated with that as we get a lot closer. So this is a new Kill Them Dead page. Typically, if you see this much pencil rendering, it's Kill Them Dead. But if you've been following along, you kind of piece it together, I guess. And there's been a few people, which is almost odd to me because I know what Skunk Artworks is doing, painting these pages. But there's been a few people who are like, can we get an all penciled book? And I'm like, yeah, that should definitely be a possibility, because they'll look at the penciled pages and be like, those look cool. I like that. I kind of want a all penciled book. It's like, well, we'll make that an option, I'm sure. But I have a lot of fun with these because nothing about it's traditional in the storytelling. Because you can see this, and I'm drawing it almost like panels so that you can see a storyline. And I've got a lot to do on one page. So we're doing it like picture book style, where you've got prose on one side, image on the next, but I want the image to actually tell the story, not just one solid image that represents part of the prose. I want it to be a blend of the prose. So it does work almost like a comic book in that it's sequential, but it's not comic book style with word bubbles and dialogue, etc. So, but I still want it to be sequential storytelling, so that what you read over here, you see it happen over here, not just you see one image representing part of it. I want it to be a summarization visually, and then I want the music to be a summarization audibly, with a score. And then I want the prose to be almost the technical, just the cut and dry formula. But here's your visual sensation, and we also have an audio sensation. So that's what I'm going for. And having a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, Kill Them Dead. And then Unconditional Shove Volume 2, which I'm working on. And those are the things that I'm specifically working on. Now, Magnificent Bastards number 2, Talked about this last week. It's also got issue number 1 is free to download and read for anybody who wishes. And I highly suggest you take advantage of that because, for one, the story's fun and really, really engaging. A lot of humor, a lot of action, a lot of intrigue. It's exciting. It's very well done. James is a great writer. Samir Samao did the artwork on the first issue, and he's an excellent artist. Unfortunately, he's not doing issue 2, but that's not that unfortunate because Sketch 51 is amazing and really killing it on issue 2. But issue 1, like anything, you want to read that before you get to issue 2. And I highly suggest everybody check out issue 1 and everybody get ready for the launch of issue 2. So issue 1 available to read anytime you want. I will put the link down below. All you got to do is click it, download it, have the PDF, read it, enjoy it. It's great. Issue number 2 is in signups right now on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic, and it will go live. Tentative date is, we'll just say the end of May. So in a little over a month, we will launch the campaign and it will go live. Again, I can't recommend it enough. I've said this before, but reading Magnificent Bastards number 1 was a big part of James and I becoming a team. Was because I went, he gets it. He gets things that I get, and that I want to work with people who get these things. And I already kind of knew that from his personality hanging out with him. But then after reading the issue, it was very apparent. I'm like, our humor clicks, our styles click. I get what we can do here. So that's where the whole thing kind of started. Now, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what would, because I'm pretty particular and selective about those kind of things. And Magnificent Bastards was a revelation. It was one of the best independent books I had read in a long time. And so I highly recommend you read issue 1. I highly recommend you read issue 2. Issue 2 is just going even way more. And it's fun, exciting. The humor is definitely on point. The artwork matches 100% what he's trying to convey. Like I said, Samir Samao is a great artist. He did a great job on issue 1, but he was hard to work with. He had lags in the, especially when it was ramping up, and we said, need pages, and they just weren't coming. So there's more story that needs to be told, and we needed somebody faster. We definitely found that in Sketch 51, who is fast and incredibly good. One of the best cartoonists, maybe the best that I've seen out there. Just at capturing expression, caricatures, all that. Like, he's got it. He's definitely got it. So it's impressive to see what he can do. So Magnificent Bastards 2, that one we're very excited about. I'll always be excited about Magnificent Bastards. Fun. And then The Splash. And I'm going to talk ad nauseum about these 2 campaigns until they're launched, which is coming very soon. The Splash tentatively launching in late June. So boom, boom, month apart. That one, again, if you know who Skunk Artworks is, you should know that he's making The Splash, which is a children's book. It's an all-ages book. It's something that any adult will enjoy because, for one, Skunk's artwork is just beautiful. Like, anybody who enjoys really, really good art, top-tier art, is going to love this book. But two, if you have a child or nephew or niece or anybody, it's going to be a very well-structured... It's an old fable turned into a book, and I can't remember where the origin comes from. But it touches on the things that you want to teach a child, about courage, about um, unselfishness, and virtue. And so it's very well done. The story's great. The artwork is off the chain. Like, anyone who knows me knows how highly I think of Skunk Artworks, and I really do think one of the best artists and one of the best people I've met coming into the scene. And so, even if he said, "I'm done with you guys, I'm gonna go do something else," I would support him to my dying day, because I think he's uh, an amazing talent, and just as a person, I want him to succeed so bad, because he is so good as an artist, as a person. So he's got this great story that teaches a good lesson for a good moral tale for children. As that's what I think children's books should be, is like instilling those foundational core virtues that everyone should aspire for. And like I said, courage and honesty and unselfishness, etc. So the Splash, that one is also in signups, will be down below, and launching late June, tentatively. That I'm very excited about. What else? Cascadia. Again, I'm just reiterating the same things. I'm going to do that because I absolutely love these guys. And I'm horrible about promotion on social media. Talked a lot about this in my last video. I don't like doing that, but I can sit here and talk about it. Unfortunately, not many people watch this, or the people who do, I'm just preaching to the choir, or I think I am. Again, if you have not, you're going to want to sign up for these and be ready for the launches. They're going to be great. Read Magnificent Bastards #1. But Cascadia is another one that is very much a moral storytelling model that teaches virtue. And I think all good stories do that to a certain extent. But I think with the Splash and with Cascadia, it's a little more important to the narrative that you understand the moral tale that's being told. Cascadia is kind of a coming of age, a young man, an apprentice, finding his way in this world with a teacher who's got a lot to offer, but is also a hardened man who is trying to rein in this youngster. And that little back and forth, almost odd couple element of the green and wet behind the ears with the hardened master and apprentice. Every time Ryan talks, so that's by Ryan Miller, by the way, another great dude, really awesome dude. All these people, I'm lucky to call them friends. They're family. They're people I really care about. Ryan Miller, excellent artist, or great artist, and again, a great dude as well. But every time he talks about Cascadia, it makes me think of the Black Cauldron. What was the kid's name? Anyway, he had the pig and the Black Cauldron. But he was like a young farmer in training, working for this wizard who had much bigger ambitions and knew more about the boy's future, etc. So it always makes me think of that. So if you like the Black Cauldron, or like the premise of the Black Cauldron, it definitely reminds me of that. Obviously, it's not the Black Cauldron, but that's what I always think of. But if you look at that relationship between the master and apprentice kind of thing, similar, from what I understand. So So very excited for Cascadia. Also another fully hand painted book, and Ryan's really, really talented. So we got that. And then we got Unconditional Shove Volume 2. Talked a lot about this being more of a conglomerate amalgamation of talent, not just the Odin show, which is what I always wanted it to be. So we're going to have extra writers, extra artists. And then that'll be launching. We'll also have signups for that coming eventually. But right now we also have reprints of Volume 1. So everyone should. Yeah. If you really liked it, pick up a reprint. You'll want this extra version. It's different. Be a collector. Or have a reader copy or whatever. But also, if anybody missed out, or if you know people who would have enjoyed it and you bought it, let them know. So that's on Fund My Comic right now. But I'll also put that link down below. And then we'll be launching that probably around Halloween time, of course. That's a good time to launch for Unconditional Shove. It's very much a horror Halloween kind of feel. So, and then Kill Them Dead. We're hard at work at that. Like I said, the launch that we did was fun and exciting, but it was premature. Talked a lot about that as well. Just know that obviously I'm working my ass off on this. I'm not giving up on it. It's going to happen, but it's just going to take a lot longer, because I still have to finish a lot of music, and I still have to finish these pages. When I get a little further with Shove Volume 2, then I can really focus on the art on this and also set up the time to do the music, etc. But it's not going away. It's just bigger, and it'll always be big. This will always be a big project. One that when it's done and it's actually in print and getting to people, it's one of the ones I'm going to be like. I was very proud. Unconditional Shove Volume 1. It's first thing I ever did. Excited, happy to get it out. But this one is so bombastic and just grandiose, and it's ambitious in what we're offering, that I'm like, regardless of how well it does, I'll always be proud of this one, because it's gonna be insane. So that, and then also Paper Machete. Paper Machete is another one I'm very excited about. If I had all the time in the world, or if I didn't have a 9-to-5 and I could just draw all the time, I would definitely be drawing Paper Machete, because I love the story. It's another horror story. A fun, crazy story mixing rock and roll and cultic elements along with the Amish. So you put that all together. Rock and roll, the Amish, and cultic death and gore. You get Paper Machete. But that's going to be James and Good Stuff writing that one. I think we have our artist. I'm not going to announce it till I'm sure on that, though. But I think we have an artist for that. So that's all Broken Compass Entertainment. I have to go through that rundown, and that's just getting like a lot. But I have to do that, or I'll feel like I missed something and feel bad about it. So that's what we're working on. I did get some good stuff. I talked about this last video, I'm pretty sure. I honestly can't remember what I talked about last time, so I'm going to assume I touched on them, but I can actually show them now, because I don't think I had them handy. But I got these in the mail to independent crowdfunded. I guess crowdfunding is the wrong word for this one, but this one wasn't crowdfunded. It was just printed and then sent out as you order. But my friend, maybe this will be better. J-Bot, he had this great IP, this great idea called Berserker, about a girl who gets taken away into a mystical land of dream, and her teddy bear has to go save her from that dream. And when her teddy bear goes into the dreamland or the whatever world, he becomes Berserker, and he's very much a barbarian, badass teddy bear. And it's really cool because every time he gets cut, it's stuffing that comes out, and he's saving her. And J-Bot's art style is very endearing. It's something that just about anybody can enjoy. And this was a great book. And my only issue with it, I told J-Bot this, is just I want more. I want more. Don't go on to new other stuff. Just work on more Berserker, because Berserker is a great IP. It's fun. And we need more things like this. And then I got some original art from him. This one was like a Conan homage with the body paint and everything. So yeah, and if you've ever seen J-Bot's art, it's, like I said, it's very endearing. It's something I think anybody can enjoy. So Berserker was great. Really enjoyed that. It's a quick read, but you can hit him up. It's reasonably priced. Limited to 100 copies, and he's about halfway through them. So if you want Berserker, just hit up J-Bot Art on the Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. It's Twitter to me, but he will gladly send these out to you. I think it was $15 for the book, and then can't remember what he was doing for shipping. And then if you wanted a piece like this piece of original art, I think it was only $20, and I think he had $10 tiers for original art as well. So yeah, good stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And another one that I really enjoyed that I got recently was Judex. This one was, the artwork was impeccable. It was excellently done. And the writing was very good as well. It was a fun, engaging story. Seemed very much along the lines of like V for Vendetta, in that vein, but very enjoyable. And again, the artwork sang. It was excellent. So Judex, definitely highly recommend. That's with the other Odin writing. Ogden, as some people call him. Michael Odin, and then Neff from Global Frequencies. I think this is what they call a Global Frequencies joint, like Spike Lee would say. But yeah, really, really good. Curious to see where it's going from here too. I want more, as I typically do with stuff that I really enjoy. So Judex, if you missed out, I'm not sure if they have a second chance or what their plans are with that, but I'm sure if they make a volume 2 or an issue 2, that there will be a catch up, which you'll want to do because this is a lot of fun. Again, artwork was incredible. So now I could pretty much tell you it's all digital, but there's people who did digital right and there's people who did digital wrong, and whatever his name is, it's Ugolini. Definitely does digital right. So, and if it's not digital, that's actually probably even more impressive because the cleanness of the line work and stuff. But so Judex, enjoyed that one. And I got a bunch of random stuff from my local shop, which I'm not going to show, but I went in there and I thought maybe I wouldn't even spend any money. I'm like, I got nothing in my pull slot today. Nothing looks good on the racks. I'll just go meander around the store and look at random back issues. it doesn't take long before I find my way of spending money. But so I got some stuff I liked, but I don't have it on hand, so we're not going to talk about it. And as my oldest brother would say, I think that's all that's fit to print in my world right now. Trying to think about seasonally if there's anything. Because I've done like Mother's Day and Father's Day and Christmas and New Year's, where I talk and try to wax intellectual about something about the season. Well, I could talk about Easter because it kind of came and went a little bit, and I didn't really touch on it much. Easter used to be, at least spiritually, philosophically, however you want to look at it, the most important holiday for me. It used to mean the most in those kind of aspects. Whereas I enjoy Christmas, I enjoy Halloween, I enjoy some of these holidays. Like Easter meant something much more. And Thanksgiving as well. Thanksgiving is one that has a little more deeper, personal and philosophical meaning for me. And I think, the reason why Easter is always like that, and it's funny, and the reason I mention it is because it's come and gone. I didn't talk about it in any other video, and now I'm like, but I have been thinking a lot about it more. So it's kind of like I celebrated Easter. I didn't really think about it too much. And here a few weeks later, I'm thinking about it a lot. Just because there's things in my life that have like spurred those thoughts. So Easter to me always goes back. It's a time where in the Christian world you celebrate the resurrection of Christ. So they have Good Friday and then Easter Sunday is basically death, burial, and resurrection, which are like basically like three constants in life always. Now there's microcosms and macrocosms, and I would say that obviously your physical life has this birth, has this trajectory, and then death and into the grave, and then whatever the belief is after that. Christian belief is definitely a resurrection into a glorified body in heaven. But if you cut across different belief systems, you still find that same through line of death, burial, and resurrection, or life, death, new life. And the one Christian concept that I've always latched onto very strongly, because I've seen it and felt it so often in my own personal life, is the concept of being born again. Now, that's one thing that, you'll hear like the evangelical Christian world say like, born again, born again. And it almost has like a lot less meaning when people throw it out there all the time. But to me, it has tremendous meaning because, like I said, I've felt it in my life. There were times where I was on a trajectory going this way, and I ran into a brick wall, which was basically death. And then in that died to my selfish desires and was resurrected into something new, a new version of myself. And, there's that term paradigm, or paradigm, as I like to call it, paradigm, which is basically that new version of yourself, your new paradigm. You were once this and now you're this. And anybody can do it at any time. It's not easy, but often it can be a huge moment of revelation where there's a stark contrast to the person you were to the person you became. And I've seen that so much in my life. And you see it on small levels. You see it daily. Like every day, we have a death and resurrection. You know, like you go to sleep and then you wake up and you got a whole new day, a whole new chance to be something new. So you see that like burial, and that's where the baptisms come in. That was always what baptism was representative of. That's why you go down in the water and you come up new. And that's what it is. It's born again. And I loved that term. Ever since I first heard that term, born again. And then there was another that Paul wrote about, which is the renewing of your mind daily. He said, the renewing of your mind daily. And that kind of indicates that you have a chance to like do something different every day. And so you have that death and resurrection every day. And you have it in very little moments. And it's decisions. And there's another term that Paul said, which is take every thought captive. And I like that too. Like if you have like a bad, like I could go do this and do the wrong thing and be like an idiot. But you take that captive, you hold it captive and you don't follow through on it. But that's basically a death and resurrection in that little decision. Because your old self would just go for it and your new self will sacrifice. It will sacrifice the inner person that wants to go do this crazy thing that's not healthy and make a better choice. So I like all these word phrases that come from the Bible that are very impactful like that, like taking every thought captive, renewing of your mind daily, being born again. I love these terms because they can happen to anybody at any moment. Now, if you're like me, and like a lot of people, I assume, you almost have to hit a brick wall before you realize that you need to, make that change. You need to be born again. You need to die. That old person needs to die. A new person needs to be born. But you see it in cross nature. I mean, every spring, and that's why this coincides with this time of year, is like this rebirth. After the death of the winter, then there's like rebirth. Everything goes into hiding. The leaves fall. The insects hide. The animals burrow. The bears hibernate. Whatever. And then spring comes and everything like opens back up anew. But, you see like a snake shedding its skin, molting. And it leaves this like almost like a carcass, a remnant of the old, as it's like a new creature now. The life cycle of a butterfly. I don't know. You just see it all over the place. It's kind of like death, rebirth, and again, the rebirth is kind of associated. Like if you think of the butterfly, it's not just reborn, it's reborn into something new, something more beautiful. In my mind, a butterfly or even a moth is more beautiful than a caterpillar. So you get this cycle of birth and rebirth, and the biggest cycle for me happened in my 20s probably. And that's probably the most obvious time, because as you're like 18 and you're pulling away from your parents and you're going to do your own thing and you think you got it all figured out, and you fall flat on your face so many times and you realize you're just a big knucklehead with no fucking clue. Uh, yeah, I have to eat humble pie to be reborn. It's almost like part and parcel. So you find that out, and then you go, let's die to that old self. Let's let that old self die. Let's be reborn as something new and better. Something with a little more humility, a fresh set of eyes to view the world in a new way, in a new paradigm. So that's my thing. And I've been thinking a lot about that. Both personally, I think about it for my kids. I think about it for people I know, and just life in general. I think about it, what political things and the world overall, and nature, and just the cyclical nature of that death and rebirth, that born again process. And I've just been thinking about it a little bit more lately, which is funny. I usually think about it leading up to Easter, but I don't know, all over the place or whatever. And lately been thinking about it more. So, as I leave with any kind of parting wisdom, I talk about all that kind of stuff just to say, like, that is a noble thing in life. And if you don't have those moments, and hopefully very profoundly, because oftentimes they need to be profound. They need big kicks in the ass. Sometimes a little one will do. But if you're like me, you need big kicks in the ass to, like, find a better paradigm. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Because it's comfortable to maintain your own status quo and just kind of be yourself. And even if it's just meandering down a road to nowhere, that's more comfortable. But you know the changes that need to be made. You know what you're doing good, what you're doing bad. You know where you need to kill the old self and watch it be reborn into something better and more beautiful. Embrace those things, as hard as they may be, and put the work in and do it. Rather than, you may have to eat humble pie, but if you're hearing this and you're already, like, triggered by what I'm saying, you've probably already ate a little humble pie on those bad decisions. So don't let them become even worse. Take stock of it. Take those thoughts captive. Be reborn every day. Every day is a new chance to, if you fuck up one day, you don't have to stay there. The next day you got a new day to, like, not fuck up. So just know that the people who are doing that in their lives, whether that has some big profound ripple effect, I believe it does. I believe everybody's good decisions do have big profound ripple effects. I firmly believe that. But whether they do or don't, you'll see the fruit of it in your own life, that your relationships will be better, or your health will be better, or your finances will be better, or whatever situation it is. So there's my my little TED Talk thing, my motivational, encouraging stuff. I think it's important, and I think you can look back. I think anybody can do this. Look back throughout your life, and if you really think about it, you'll see moments where either you should have made those big changes and become reborn as a new person, or you've had plenty of those moments like myself where I'm like, yeah, if I didn't have some kind of come to Jesus intervention, even if it was entirely personal, and change, I would have, I might be dead. I was heading path of destruction. So I think most people can find those in their lives. And when you realize how hard it was, and you realize the emotions of those moments when you made those hard choices, just know you don't really want to be there again. So the best you can do is stay ahead of the game and constantly catch those things as they come up. But yeah, if you're as human as me, you fuck up all the time. So you wish you could be on top of it, but you're always a work in progress. So anyway, like I said, that's hope if that helps you, cool. If not, just go about your life, and hopefully something else helps you. So that's all I got. Just rambling, and I'll end it there. But check out all the links I post below. If you haven't signed up for this stuff, sign up. The launches are coming soon, and yeah, check out Unconditional Shove reprint. You know, if there's a collector mindset in you and you liked what I did, you'll want this one too. Plus, there's an exclusive shirt which looks pretty badass, which I'm gonna get one here soon. So anyway, that's what's going on. That's what's fit to print. And so yeah, until next time, Odin here. Take care.